So, Apple's most powerful Mac, the Mac Pro, is going to be getting a new M1 Ultra chipset and also another chipset with a WWDC announcement. I want to share the latest on this, and we also have the latest roundup of everything we know so far, including the specs and of course the Apple Mac Pro 2022 release date and price. So back in 2019 we had the brand new Mac Pro and it came out with the latest Intel Xeon chips inside. The Mac Pro is considered as the god desktop for creators and developers. It is one of 3 desktop computers in the current Macintosh lineup, sitting above the consumer Mac Mini, the brand new Mac Studio and iMac models. It is Apple's most powerful Mac that they make. The new design went back to a tower design after it went to a cylinder design for the second generation. The new design includes a new thermal architecture with 3 impeller fans, which promises to prevent the computer from having to throttle the processor so it can always run at its peak performance levels. But let's press on with when it's likely we're going to be getting our hands on the new Mac Pro. The Mac Pro is due a refresh in its chipsets and it will be very soon, as the last time we've had an update was in late 2019. Apart from the 2013 Mac Pro, the models before from 2006 to 2012 had upgrades around every 18 months to 2 years with newer Intel chipsets put inside. We are very likely to see the binned M1 Ultra, what is essentially 2 bin M1 Maxes together, as the starting configuration, so this will be a 20 core CPU with 16 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores with a 48 GPU core inside. This will likely be the base chipset for the Mac Pro when it's launched. However, we are expecting a new chipset that might not even have an M1 name next to it, and this will be something brand new from Apple. This could be like the Intel Xeon chips being special instead of having an i7 or an i inside the 2013 or 2019 Mac Pro. We had the Xeon chips instead, and they're even more beefier and much more powerful than your standard i5, i7 or i9. We may get something like this, or Apple might be planning something like this with a special unique name just for the Mac Pro. However, for release date, as all Macs will have been changed to Apple Silicon by the end of 2022, then it's a possibility that Apple want to do their upgrade with the Apple events between September to November time. Apple traditionally do an event in October or November time for their Apple Macs. However, having said that, every single Mac Pro since 2006, with the first generation that borrowed that G5 design but had an Intel chipset inside it, to the trash can design in 2013, and also even more recently with that cheese grater design in 2019, all of these Mac Pros have been announced in the summer before they came out in the full time, and this is most likely the time they've been announced has been at WWDC. So it's very likely that we're going to see an announcement of the brand new Mac Pro at WWDC 2022. We've got to remember that recently at Apple's peak performance event that happened in March time, they said the following about the Mac Pro.
Making our transition nearly complete with just one more product to go, Mac Pro. But that is for another day.
So you can see from this being said, and also from past history, there is a high possibility that we could be actually getting the new Mac Pros in summer 2022 at WWDC. And this would make sense, as Apple are already shifting their focus in creating the new next generation Apple Silicon Chipsets, the M2 and all its variants, that will start coming out at the end of 2022. So we just need that new chip in the Mac Pro, and Apple have completed their transition, and then they can fully focus on that brand new generation and start that journey all over again. But back to this summer with WWDC. Generally in past, WWDC has happened in around June time, and it can either be at the beginning half of that month or it can be at the end half of that month. But the second we know when WWDC is coming, and if more leaks and rumours are pointing for the Mac Pro to be announced or even released near this time, I will be updating these videos for you and letting you guys know. So, just quickly guys, this channel recently got over 350,000 subscribers, what's absolutely amazing. So in celebration of this, I am doing a giveaway right now on this channel for this. It is for a MacBook Air, and this MacBook Air here is the 8-core GPU option with 512 gigabytes of storage, and I'm going to be giving this away to one lucky subscriber when we get over 400,000 subscribers. And all you need to do to enter into this international giveaway is put down in the comments below of what Apple gear or what technology gear you're planning to buy in 2022. And when we get over that 400,000 subscribers marker, I'll be creating a video on this channel announcing who the winner is. So if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell right now. Now, just quickly, I do want to mention there are lots of scammers, there are lots of spammers, a lot of them impersonating myself, and they're telling you to WhatsApp you or to WhatsApp them or to Telegram them. Ignore them completely or report them, because this is not me. Like you've heard from me here, I'll be making a video when we get over 400,000 subscribers announcing any kind of giveaway on this channel, and it will definitely be this time for this MacBook Air here. Well, with that out of the way guys, let's return back to the video. With the latest reports and release date out of the way, let's move on to a summary of everything we know so far that previous leaks have painted a picture of the details of the new Mac Pro with its price as well. So far as we're aware, the Mac Pro is going to actually be keeping its current design. So this is the same design that was announced in 2019, and this has been nicknamed the cheese grater design, mainly because of that front grille on the very front of the Mac Pro. It's unlikely Apple are going to change the design because this was just the last generation. There's been no upgrades for this, and it's so recent that Apple actually decides to do an upgrade on the design of this Mac Pro. So it's unlikely that this is going to change, and we haven't heard anything or leaks or rumors saying it will change. But inside it, we are most likely going to be getting an M1 Ultra and maybe even an Extreme chipset, so an M1 Extreme or something else called like the Mac Extreme. And inside this, it will start with a 20-core CPU for the M1 Ultra, and this could go all the way up to a 40-core CPU. So basically, this could mean that you could get a 16-core sort of performance cores with that M1 Ultra with 4 efficiency cores, and then for the actual 40-core one, you could actually be getting the likes of 32 cores for performance cores in that Extreme chipset with 8 efficiency cores. Then for the GPU option, again it depends. If it's the M1 Ultra and it's that binned M1 Ultra, it will start with 48 GPU cores, and this could go all the way up to 128 GPU cores inside that kind of Extreme chipset. Again for RAM will start probably at 64 gigabytes and go up to 256 gigabytes of RAM. And this would make sense if basically you had 4 M1 Maxes inside it. The kind of maximum kind of RAMs could go up to 256 gigabytes of RAM. The next bit is to do with storage and also to do slots for cards. This is unknown at the moment, especially of how special how the Apple Silicon chipset is being made. We're not quite sure if the storage is going to be soldered onto a board or if it will be upgradable by putting in expansion card slots. And then that also asks the question about expansion card slots. Will we be able to put in graphics cards, or will we be able to put in sound cards or other cards like this? It is unknown at this stage of how Apple are going to do this. So at the moment I'm going to leave this like this until we hear more news around it, and the second I do, I will let you guys know. But the starting price with the M1 Ultra, and remember this is the binned GPU option, so this is the 48 core one with a 20 core CPU and 64 gigabytes of RAM. This will start at $5,999 US, and like I said, it's going to be retaining this design that we have here, and there'll be options most likely to do changes to your Mac Pro in adding extra expansion cards in some sort of shape or form, and this is why it's more expensive than the likes of say a Mac Studio with that same chipset inside it. So that is a summary of the new Mac Pro. However, for my thoughts and wishes, my wish is to do what makes a Mac Pro great, and that is the ability to add your own expansion cards in and the ability to upgrade bits and pieces inside it. Now, with Apple Silicon being an all-in-one chip, so this is with the CPU, GPU and RAM all together, it feels like that no changes to these 3 components will be allowed to be upgraded in a Mac Pro, and basically this is really disappointing to hear. I'm really wishing that Apple has done some magic somehow to do an upgrade or be able to upgrade some of these chipsets, and also the ability to add more storage and expansion cards. I really hope that Apple do not take this ability of upgrading a Mac Pro away, as it would be so disappointing if they did. But those are just my thoughts, and let me know if you feel the same about this or not. Well guys, it's time to wrap up this video, so if you've enjoyed watching it, please make sure to like the video, and also at the same time as well, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, please make sure to hit that subscribe button followed by the notification bell. Until next time guys, I'll see you soon.